Hello, everybody. Aaron here, or ATB614, bringing up my vlog series, or Benny's Breakdowns, as it's better known as. Welcome old viewers, and hopefully get some new ones. They kind of didn't really do any of these last season. Didn't really kind of feel motivated for them, but thought about redoing the series. Hopefully thinking, throwing around some ideas, getting some guests, doing some like, Google Hangouts, stuff or Skype or whatever. And then maybe, end goal is to kind of turn it into like a podcast or something. But anyway, that's looking down the line. Wanted to make this video talk about the beginning of the season. Obviously only 4 games in, but it's been a tough 4 games for us in Blue Jackets land. To start off, obviously a lot of us fans are kind of wondering what happened to the team we saw in the preseason. I mean, I know some people, poo-poo preseason games, saying, "Oh, they're just that. They're just exhibitions, basically." But there's something missing. I don't know what it is. I wish I knew. The more and more I'm understanding about the game and how it's played and all that, I still can't really figure out what it is. It sucks as a fan, and sucks as just me as kind of person. I always want to kind of figure out and help when I can, but this is something obviously way out of my hands. Not much more I can do besides still supporting the team and showing up and obviously talking about the team and all that. But the last, or obviously since we're 0-4, but these games, they've really showed some answered some questions that we had about obviously the defense, but it also is presenting a lot of stuff we didn't think about going the season how this team was going to be. Obviously, goaltending has been a weird thing. I mean, I'm not putting everything on Bob. He's had some good saves, but he just doesn't quite look like the Bob we know out there. Obviously, in my opinion, the defensive pairings aren't helping anything, but I'll expand on that a little bit. But get back to the whole, what happened to the team we saw in preseason? Where'd that go? I wish I had answers. Especially after the Nashville game, we were, kind of get this hint of, what this team could do. But again, like I said, I wish I had, clear-cut answer on that. But I wish, like I said again, I wish I had an answer. I know the team's looking for answers too. But moving on from that, wanted to touch on the leadership group in this team and what they have in front of them right now. It's a problem. Start with Foligno. I'm not, in any shape or form saying he can't be, captain or a leader or shouldn't be either that. Not saying that at all. I think he, maybe a little, not over his head, but a little burdened right now with what he has to, deal with the team. Not saying he can't right the ship at all. I feel like he can. But I also think that, he didn't think he was signing up for this, straight out of the box. I think he's putting too much of the weight of what's going on his shoulders. I think he's trying too hard out on the ice, which is saying a lot because he's a hard-working hockey player. But feel like, with what leadership roles I have had, feel like he, should or needs to lean on Dubinsky and uh, Jenner a little bit more, being his alternates or his assistants, or however you label them. But I feel like they need to kind of maybe come together more. I'm sure they are, but the way I see it, they come together a little bit more of as a cohesive leadership unit. Maybe talk more with the coaching staff. Maybe have some players only meetings or players only practices or something. Um, but hearing the captain say, especially after the Ottawa loss, they hit rock bottom. But the last thing I want to hear, only 4 games in the season, but one way to look at it is if they hit rock bottom now, then the only way to go is up, and that's the only way they can go. Um, but uh, but yeah, and then another thing of concern right now is Bob. He's not the Bob that we know. He's not playing like the Bob we know. Sure, goalies are a very mental position. They let things, at least from what I can tell, let things get to him really quickly and escalate pretty quickly into some bad spots. Obviously, where he's at, where he's saying he has zero confidence right now, which is the last thing you want to hear your number one goalie say. I think I was on Twitter earlier and saw he's going to play tomorrow night against Toronto. Um, Hopefully that you can, help him get out of a slump a little bit, and hopefully the D plays more cohesively in front of him. We've seen flashes of the defense playing well. I mean, they played, I thought, pretty well, fairly well last season. Um, so I don't know what happened to their game right now. To me, I think the pairings need to be shaken up a bit. I'm sure some people have heard me hark on this on social media, but I feel like Connaughton and Prout, if they, are a pair on Friday night, see if Goldbuff gets the call, gets the slot in. But I feel like they need to be split up and put on, and like maybe break up, Johnson and Tootin. Maybe have, mix up those pair, maybe like a Johnson, Connaughton, or Johnson, Prout, and Tootin, Connaughton, or something. I think Murray and Savard are working pretty good together. I just don't know if they have like a lot of time together, so maybe this is taking them some time to kind of get used to each other's play style. That I don't know. I'm not that well versed in their games and all that, but that's just how I feel. Like I know they can play better as a unit, and I've been hearing the word trade for defensemen popping up. It's way too early for any team to give up a defenseman this early, unless it's like a huge price tag, which I don't think JD or Yama are going to do. I just don't see that happening. Maybe come trade deadline, we'll trade away some picks and prospects for defensemen for the younger defensemen, but there's such a hard commodity anymore, because when any team has a good defenseman, they lock them up and make it really hard for to get rid of if they ever do. But that's kind of what I feel about that whole situation. And then here's a not popular topic, and I know some people want to pause the video or skip forward a couple minutes. That's one of the. It's all hypothetical. We'll talk about Richards. About his job potentially being on the line if he doesn't get this going, because that's just how sports are. I don't think it's fair in most cases. I've heard Richard speak a couple times. I have limited interaction with him. He seems like a good good coach, good guy. I like what he says, how he breaks stuff down. I like it, but you know, of course, people are calling for his job already, which isn't going to happen. Um, at least unless this gets off the rails very quickly and very badly, then yeah, he'll go. But as of right now, there's not really anyone out there um, to take over. I heard Tortorella get mentioned, bumped around. That's not going to happen. Um, you know, Seeing some other teams struggling, I could see Claude Julien getting the axe in Boston. Maybe Daryl Sutter if he can't get the Kings going. If those guys are available in the off season, and for some reason we can't write this, and it's just another what if season for the Jackets, then I could see upper management going for one of those guys. Um, you know, to me, like I think this last off season was, unless something drastically changes, like one of the better like coaches market that we've seen in a little bit. I would like to see, seeing it's got McKellen from San Jose, but what if? That's sports for you. But anyway, that's all I want to talk about. That is just if Richard gets the axe, then to me that'll just kind of like most cases that'll just wipe the season. And I, again, don't want to talk about it. It's all hypothetical. Way too early in the season to be talking about that. But as being hypothetical, what if situation, I just wanted to touch on it if I, if I don't ever bring it up again in a video. But again, we'll see. But that kind of brings me to some of my final points. One thing I have been seeing, and you can call me a hypocrite up and down, I'll take it because this is going to be a very hypocritical statement, especially if you follow me on Twitter or still do. I kind of, ranted on Saturday night, like during the Rangers game, about, about the team, but like, I was one of these people bringing up like, pack it up and sell it, after 3 games or 2 games at the point. It was stupid, I admit it, but that's just how I react to sports for some reason. I go way off the edge and irrational, but anyway, back to what I was saying. I've seen fans get on each other already about, obviously last night you heard a lot of booing in the arena. That's been like the big hot button thing with the fan base is people telling other fans they can't boo or shouldn't boo. And I'm not going to get into huge details. If you feel like I'm singling you out, I'm not. Please don't take it that way. I've seen it way too much this early. Like I said, again, I'm being very hypocritical because I went off the deep end myself. But that's just the last thing we need to do as a fan base. I know we're a young fan base, we're a fickle fan base to an extent. I think the reason why we react the way we do is because we haven't really done much as an organization. I mean, 2 playoff appearances, 1 sweep, the other, not making out the first round. Is we don't have a lot to hang our hats on, and we were. I'm not going to say duped, but all the hype that was, going into this season seems to have diminished pretty quickly, and I think the players might have bought into themselves a little too early. But again, I know everyone's has entitled their opinion. I'm not saying to take that away from you. Again, last thing I'm doing, but just don't worry about how other people want to be a fan. I mean, you can say I don't like booing. That's fine. I don't like booing. I don't boo. But I'm not going to stand here and tell someone that they can't. That's them showing their thoughts on how the team is. And the best way I can tell is at least they have a reaction. At least they care. could be in a negative way, but at least they care. But anyway, I just wanted to touch on that. Is that's the last thing we should be doing, is attacking each other. The best thing we can do is just all kind of stick with it, and see what happens. I mean, I honestly see this being fixed, and the players figuring out, the coaching staff figuring out all that. I just don't know what the timetable is. I wish I had an answer, but I don't. But like I said, just don't hit any panic buttons. Don't give up. I mean, if you want to stop going to games right now until they play better, I don't blame you. I'm in the same boat. And they will turn around. They will fix it. I haven't lost faith. It's just very frustrating right now. But you know, it's the life of an Ohio sports fan. But and I know for some reason that the Blue Jackets are a team, a franchise that people give up on like at the drop of a hat. Like I heard that when I was leaving the game against the opening night. Is I was walking down one of the main concourses, and I mean, yeah, that game sucked, especially the last like minute or a couple minutes. I heard a kid say, "Blue Jackets suck, bring on the Bucks." And it's like, come on now, you know, we're a week into the season. But that's all I want to say is let's just stop, going after each other and attacking each other and name calling and calling people fake fans because they, boo at a game. Like I've heard like, oh, the players don't need to hear that. I'm not saying they do, but they're also, professional athletes. They're grown-ups. They're adults. They can handle it. They know what's going on. I mean, you can tell the frustration in people like Hartnell and Dubinsky and all that. They're so frustrated right now. And, hopefully we can get the ship right against Toronto. Play like we're a hungry team that, we know this isn't how it's supposed to, we thought the season was going to go. Go out there and play a full 60. I mean, I know you hear that. I'm sure the coaches are beating that into their skulls. Play a full 60, play a full 60. But, I think Foligno said it best is they know they have something special, but you can talk all about it, but you have to prove it out on the ice. Play it on any surface that you're playing on, let it be ice, grass, on the court, anything. Just I'm breaking down, the walls of all sports. You just have to, if you know what you are as a team, if you go out there and prove it, you can say it up and down. But just kind of wrap up the whole fan thing. We just need to be patient and stop attacking each other. Yeah, you can be frustrated. I'm frustrated. I don't know what to do, as a fan. And I hate saying this early, and I've been rambling on here. But again, that's just what I want to say is, let's just stop going after each other and just see this through. And hopefully we can turn around, and hopefully this is the only, down point in the season that, come spring we're ramping up, for playoffs. So that's best thing I can tell you. And I'll give a shout out to Reichel's Ruffians. He owes me 53 cents and half a candy bar. So appreciate that. Because I kind of have an even keeled head last night, which is very weird because I feel like I probably said some stupid stuff. But anyway, yeah, just remember, I'm not, well versed in this YouTube thing, so I guess like likes and comments and all that help. But I'm posting this on Twitter and Facebook and stuff. So if you want to leave some comments, that'd be awesome. Give me some criticism or whatever you want to do. Call me names, all that. Something like that, man. Dark night right here, but I can take it. If you want to vent at me and tell me stupid for my views, go ahead, do it. If it'll make you, have something to aim at with your frustrations and all that. But anyway, hopefully see you. I'm gonna try and get one of these done at least once a week. Hopefully, I have some better stuff to talk about here. But sorry this video was longer, but again, there's just a lot of things I wanted to touch on um, and just kind of go over. So hopefully you stuck to it to the end. But yeah, as always, go Jackets.